Well, it's a Monday morning in the Finger Lakes, and this is the dog, H. Weber, with another edition of Weber on Sports here on FingerLakes1.com. I hope you got real happy wearing your Bermuda shorts and your swimming trunks the last few days, because the weather pattern is changing. You can tell by walking down Fall Street, which I did this morning on a Monday morning, the 14th of January 2013. A little bit of a cold breeze like you were in Scotland. And guess what, folks? It's going to get worse as the week progresses. They're talking, believe it or not, lows in the 7 to 8 degree temperatures later in the week. So hope we enjoyed that nice warm weather, because I think it's over with for now after a couple more days as we progress through the week. Well, it's good to have you alongside, as we have been doing for many, many weeks here on FingerLakes1.com. I would be remiss if I did not tell you, Notre Dame fans, you should be embarrassed. I was going to bring a sign in this morning on the show saying, "We're embarrassed." If you're an alumni of Notre Dame, if you've been a loyal fan of the Fighting Irish, you're no doubt proud that they had a good season. We all know they should have lost to Pitt at home in South Bend. They got a homer call on a pass interference late in the game that allowed Notre Dame to pull that game out. The Pittsburgh kicker missed a chip shot from 37 yards. But as we all know, they did have the right dominoes fall. And guess what? They became number one in the country, taking on Alabama. And by the way, if you're keeping track, the Southeast Conference have won 6, up to this point, national championships in a row. Alabama, Notre Dame, the table was set. The odds makers liked Alabama by 12 points. What? 12 points? It went down to 9 one day later. It squared off at 9.5, and the day of the game a week ago today, January 7th, in Miami, the line went to 10. I laughed and said, you know what? I just can't believe that's a ridiculous spread. There's no way Notre Dame is a 10-point underdog to Alabama. Well, let's recap. No, they were not a 10-point underdog. They were a 100-point underdog. Ladies and gentlemen, to Ronnie Cedar Inn up in Geneva, a place that I frequent a lot of times when I'm in the Geneva area. Great Irish homeland. Great Irish tradition at that bar. Really do a great job up there. They have Irish banners and Irish hats and Irish sweaters and the Irish green. And so does Dewey's here in Seneca Falls. And there's other, probably in the Finger Lakes region or anywhere checking me out, that love the Irish bars. And I know all you Irish fans were playing the Irish fight song leading up to the start of the game. And I bet you were playing the Irish fight song and you were singing in the Irish bars when Irish eyes are smiling for the first 7 minutes. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we changed the tune after 8 minutes. If you were smart and if you were an Irish bar owner, you changed the tune to taps. It was over. 7 minutes into the game. It was no contest. It was like adults playing little kids on a football field. That's what it was like. It was like adults weighing 200 pounds, which, by the way, is dog 199, and a bunch of my friends playing kids that are 7, 8 years old. I mean, that's the way it looked like to me. I have never seen a game with such a mismatch. Alabama was bigger, stronger, faster, more agile, and knew how to play this game hard-ass-nosed football. Notre Dame left their game in South Bend. Here's a bulletin for you. The statue of Touchdown Jesus collapsed. It fell over. Believe it. There is a black curtain on the Notre Dame administration halls, and it's going to stay there for the next several months. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make excuses for such a piss-poor effort by Notre Dame. I don't know if Notre Dame was that bad or if Alabama is that good. I'm going to give it to the latter. If you're an Irish fan, hide your faces. Don't talk to me about Notre Dame tradition, because that loss, they lose by, 30? They should have lost by 60. Saban showed mercy. That was the biggest mismatch in a national championship game that I can recall, and I've been following these games pretty close, as you all know, for over 60 years. Shame on you, Irish fans. Shame on you, Notre Dame. You guys embarrassed yourself. Bah humbug. That, folks, was embarrassing. The Dogs' embarrassment was 7 minutes into the game, I went for the remote. I flipped it over to a rerun of Wiggles, a little kids program. I think Jimmy's daughter watches Wiggles. That's how bored I was. And 4 minutes later, I turned off my TV set in the pits, as I call it. It's a spare bedroom in our place, and I went to bed. That's how bad that game was, and we had to listen and had to go through 5 weeks of torture to build that thing up. And oh, by the way, update. The Southeast Conference now has won 7 consecutive national championships. What an embarrassment. Well, what's an embarrassment? By the way, in a few minutes, we'll be talking to our legendary buddy, great supporter of FingerLakes1.com, the owner of the Newark Pilots, along with his wife, Leslie, the owner of the Ohmann Theater. Bob Ohmann will join us in a couple of minutes via phone as he's driving down the highway. But a couple of other notes. Enough already, you professors at Syracuse. You're getting on the dog's nerves. Now I see that James Southerland, a fine outstanding player for Jim Boeheim's team, has been declared ineligible. There he is in street clothes the other day on the bench. Syracuse won, but they need Southerland to take on the better opponents as they go through the rest of the year. Shame on those professors down in Syracuse making him ineligible. I never went to college. I took some college courses, but Jim went to Syracuse. Come on, you got tutors around the clock. You guys and the professors, women and men, give me a break. Get out your stamp and get this kid eligible. In about 2 years, he's going to sign an NBA contract. He's going to make more money than all the professors at Syracuse combined together. It's embarrassment to keep him on the sidelines and make him ineligible. There should be no such thing in the world of college athletics, big-time college sports. And Syracuse basketball is a big-time college sport. To allow professors and that ugly Darryl Gross and that ugly Nancy Cantor, the president, to declare anybody ineligible. These kids are jocks. They're not at Syracuse for an education. Get over yourself. They're there to play football and basketball, and the other major sport at Syracuse is lacrosse. I am so sick and tired of people being taken out of games because they didn't do a lab test or didn't do a term paper. I'm sorry, folks. I don't buy it. Give me a break. These athletes are jocks. They don't belong in a classroom. They belong getting massages, laying by the pool. When they get cold, they should be able to fly to Miami at the university's expense and lay by the pool and have a cheeseburger and about 4 Coors Lights. I've had enough of these stupid professors declaring super athletes ineligible. Ridiculous. And by the way, now that I'm wound up, the National Hockey League is finally going to start skating. I wasn't excited about that. I told you on earlier shows, and I hope they were out forever. But looking at the deal, it does appear to me that the players did get some advantages in the latest contract. So rip, hooray. Go players in the NHL. The owners, you stuck it to them. You got a better deal, and I'm glad you stood out and stayed off the ice for the several months that you did. Personally, I don't care if you ever play hockey because I'm not a big hockey fan. But now we're back, and we're going to see some hockey. And all you hockey fans, enjoy. Well, I had a chance to enjoy when I checked out the Geneva-Wayne basketball game the other night. Folks, it was showdown material in Geneva. Undefeated Geneva led by Sweeney against undefeated Wayne. Well, you can't say Wayne is undefeated anymore. Geneva took it to him. Big lead in the first half. Wayne makes a rally. Too little, too late. Geneva's still unblemished. They have a phenomenal basketball team, and I'm not sure who's going to beat them coming up down the road. That's how good that team is. Well, let's talk about the playoffs as we head NFL, as we head to Super Bowl in New Orleans on February the 3rd, a Sunday, which I believe was 3 weeks from yesterday. Coming up, a couple of adversaries going at it. Baltimore travels to take on New England. It's hard to conjure up a thought process where New England can lose this game. Brady is playing great. They lost Gronkowski, by the way. Broken forearm again. Adios, amigo. Gone for the season. No more playoffs for Gronk. But I still think Brady's got way too many weapons. And the Ray Rice pity tour, I think, is going to come to a screeching halt. Look for New England to win that game quite handily. San Fran goes to Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. You know, I got to be honest with you. When they benched Alex Smith of the San Fran team, the guy's making $12, $13 million a year. Hello, Buffalo. Hello, Doogie Marrone. You may want to get rid of Fitzpatrick if you're ever going to improve that worthless franchise. You may want to go after Alex Smith. They benched him, and I thought it was a stupid move by Harbaugh, another Harbaugh. And I thought, why would they play this Kaepernick kid? I don't get it. Well, this kid's got such great running skills, and he can throw the ball. This kid, the San Fran quarterback, set an NFL record over the weekend with 185 yards rushing and 175 yards passing. Nobody had ever done that before in the history of the NFL. So say what you want. I like San Fran to advance. I like New England to advance. I like San Fran against New England for the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you right now, folks, I like San Fran by 3 in that big classic battle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of our commercial break, we'll hear from our great sponsors that make Weber on Sports possible. And after this, one of our great sponsors is Bob Ohmann. Jimmy will hook him up via phone. We'll talk about what he's been doing, how's he getting geared up, him and Leslie, for the 2013 Newark Pilot season, and a whole lot more. Coming up after the other side of the break, let's hear from our great sponsors. Welcome back, everybody. It's the dog back in the kennel here on a Monday morning, getting a little chilly here in the Finger Lakes as we continue with Weber on Sports. And without further ado, it's good to have my longtime buddy Bob Ohmann joining us via phone. I understand he's driving down the highway and byway. And first off, he's a great supporter of Finger Lakes One, a great sponsor of this show, and also a great sponsor of our high school basketball coverage. Bob Ohmann joins us this morning. Bob, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Harold. How are you?
Good, Bob. First off, I trust you and Leslie and the family had a wonderful holiday season.
Yep, we really did. Yep, we spent it in Raleigh this year. Usually we come up to Lyons and spend the Christmas season up there, but this year we stayed down here. The kids wanted to stay here for, I guess, the summer-like weather.
Well, we've had some nice weather up here too, Bob, but it's going to get a little chilly by the end of the week, they're saying.
Yeah, well, it's 70 degrees right now in Wilmington, so that's kind of nice.
Nice. Well, listen, everybody who knows you certainly knows about the Ohmann Theater, of course, in Lyons, New York. Yours and Leslie and your organization involved in the Newark Pilots. Of course, you're coming off a banner season last year. You came up a couple of bucks short, but you got a new manager. Talk a little bit about your new manager. Give us his name and what you think about the upcoming season. You've made some vast improvements in the ballpark.
Yep. Our new manager is Mike Armstrong. He's out of Fairport, New York. He went to Ithaca College. He's done a lot of work in California as of recent. He's going to go and coach also at Amherst College, which is in New England. He's an excellent recruiter, and that was the one thing we were looking for. He gets out there and he chases guys down. This year we've got a bunch of kids coming out of, obviously, out west. We've got 3 kids coming out of Brigham Young this year, which we'll be able to start right away. We've got 2 pitchers, and they both throw over 90 miles an hour. We've also got some kids coming out of California that are extremely good. And then we've got a lot of kids from New York, we normally got the kids from St. John Fisher, but this year we've got them from the University of Rochester. Obviously, RIT, we had a couple good kids, and Ithaca College. And we've got a couple others from New Jersey, which is really kind of exciting.
That's good. And you've done some improvement with the clubhouse as far as doing some actual work there, yeah?
Yeah. What we did is we built a weight room in it, and we added 600 square feet and added some more lockers. We had enough lockers before, but we spread it out. And we also built a lounge area for the kids because, most of the kids come from all over the country, and it gives them a chance to kind of hang out and talk, and we put air conditioning in it, and the Newark Pilots did it. But obviously, dealing in Newark and with the village of Newark, it's been absolutely a wonderful experience. I kind of enjoy in our league meetings, and they all tell me I'm very, very lucky to be in a town as nice as Newark.
Well, having been there several times, of course, FingerLakes1.com obviously will be coming back, I'm sure, this year to do some of your games. And certainly, I know it's quite an experience. And we've talked about this. Of course, I'm talking to Bob Ohmann of Ohmann Theater, and, of course, the owner, along with his wife, Leslie, and company owning the Newark Pilots. The thing that impressed me when I first met you and got a chance to broadcast a few of the games from your facility was the fact that you and Leslie are very much engaged with the fans. You don't just put on a persona, that you act like the owner sitting up in your suite, if you had a suite up there to sit in. The point is that you guys find out the heartbeat of America and check out the Newark fans in the surrounding area that visit your ballpark to see what improvements they want to see happen, whether it be changing your menu that you offer for food, just basically make it an experience for the fans. And I think that you've done a yeoman job, and I know you and Leslie are continuing to try to improve what you offer the fans.
Well, this year we're also, for the fans, we're going to, we bought a bounce house that's going to be in on the third base side for the kids to kind of play in. We had been renting them and every once in a while, and then we found that they really like that, so we're going to go with that every day, and that we have a game. And that's kind of, I think, a fun experience. And then one other thing we are doing is we're updating our lighting a little bit. We are adding, I guess, a candle power because of our pitching that we've got coming in. When you're at 90 miles an hour, that's basically what they're pitching in the major leagues and the minor leagues right now. So I think that's exciting all the way around.
Now, you're going to give the broadcasters special sunglasses so we can see the left side field when the sun comes, when the sun appears on the left, out in left field?
No, we're going to start the games at 10 o'clock for you.
I like that. That's pretty good. No, I like that. It's, Brian Cottle mentioned that. We could start the games like at 10 or 11. That'd be perfect. No, I mean, it's just a great experience. And you do have a lot of repeat fans, too, I must tell you. I see a lot of the same faces, and that's something got to be special, too, because you look around, you get to know these people by name, and it's like one big happy family. Now, let's talk a little bit. Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Nationally, there's 300 of these type of teams throughout the country, and I think we were ranked number 50 or something in attendance, which is really good when you consider some of the great big cities that they're in, like Albany and Elmira and places like that. But we hold our own against most of them, and I think we average a little over 1,000 fans a game, which is
phenomenal.
Pretty good.
Phenomenal. For an area like Newark, it's phenomenal. Let me ask you, as far as the league structure and the league breakout, any changes as far as teams leaving or teams joining the new league this year?
Yeah, what we did is we've got a couple new teams that came in. One came out of Adirondack, which is near Boonville. It's a conglomerate of towns together. And then, of course, we added Utica, which was in the NYCBL League. And Oneonta chose the team was sold, and they decided, I think, to lower their expectations on the talent level. I don't think they were ready to play in our league. And so basically we've lost one and gained two, and I think that'll help. I think our quality, we were ranked, I think, third best collegiate league team in the country this year, which is really a compliment when you consider the age of the league. And but we've seemed to have a little bit better venues to play in because we've got the ballparks that are pretty well maintained. For instance, like Elmira, they've got that old ballpark that was probably built in 1900, and Babe Ruth played in it. So that's kind of interesting. And I think all in all, everybody's doing upgrades to their ballpark. I know Watertown was just taken. They just did a partnership with a big car company up there, and they changed the name of their team to the Watertown Rams as after the Ram trucks, and the Dodge company is basically supporting that team to a degree, which is really encouraging also.
Well, that's awesome. I must mention, I know your wife Leslie is a big Atlanta Brave fan, a big Chipper Jones fan. Does she likewise follow the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL?
She's a Russell Wilson fan.
Oh, Seattle. So she must be Heartbroken City this morning. Yeah.
Well, he played at North Carolina State 3 years, and he played baseball and football, and he's a very good guy. He's like the fellow that's out of the Redskins.
Right.
And, he's got a couple master's degrees. He's graduated everywhere he goes. He's got success.
That's awesome.
He's a very clean-cut fella.
Well, I wondered if she was a Falcon fan because now we're down to the Final Four, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you who you liked. You got, Atlanta playing San Francisco this weekend in the NFC, and you got Baltimore traveling to New England. Who do you like in those games?
Oh, don't tell my wife, but I like New England. She went to the Super Bowl game where the Panthers played New England, and she didn't especially like the fans, but she didn't like the Buffalo Sabre fans either, so I don't know what to do with it.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. That's right. Opinions are like noses. We all have them. Well, I know you're getting geared up. I know the turn of the year has happened. I know that you're in a few weeks, believe it or not, we'll be swinging into March, and then you'll be starting to really consider the start of your baseball league, which I know gets underway shortly thereafter, because I know you've got a lot of work to do, and I know that your organization will once again present quite the appetizer and quite the main meal for all the fans that turn out to Coburn Park.
Yep. Well, Harold, I'd like to thank you and Jim for everything you've done for me also, and I can't wait for the season to start. I think opening day in Newark is June 7th, and then the season obviously goes right through the end of July, and then the playoffs. And our goal this year is to win it again. So, hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. We'll get there.
Well, just so you know, I like to keep stats, as you know, not only stats when I'm up in the broadcast booth, and even though I'm working part-time at the Thruway, it seems like I'm working full-time. I got a lot of hours out at the Thruway. I like doing that work. Keeps me moving now. But I hope to be able to don the headset and do some of your games this year. But I thought I would pass on an interesting stat for you. Your concession stand sold 728 garbage plates last year, and Jim Senecropi, Jeremy Hunt consumed 112 of those during the course of the season. Jimmy and Jeremy,
come on back.
Every time I saw those guys before a broadcast, they would be down on the first base line engulfing what is called the famous garbage plate. So Jim Senecropi and Jeremy Hunt, if you needed them to do an ad for you, I'm sure they would be more than glad to figure it out. But they enjoy that garbage plate. So, well, listen, say hello to everybody in your organization. Give our best to your wife, Leslie, and we look forward to seeing you guys up close and personal when you come back to the neck of the woods. And when you come back to the area, let us know. We'll have you into our studio again.
I can't wait. Thank you very much.
All right, Bob Ohmann joins us here on Weber on Sports. Thanks again, Bob.
Hi, Harold.
All right, Bob Ohmann, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, need really no introduction. Him and his family have done so many wonderful things for the area. Of course, my hometown, Lyons, New York, of course, the site of Ohmann Theater, which is a sponsor of this program. Of course, I've been telling you and I've been bragging about Finger Lakes One and Jim's smartness to work with Bob way back when to engage doing some Newark Pilot baseball. I know that Jim is going to be working with Bob to determine we're going to be a major factor this year over in Newark carrying their games. Got a lot of success. I think we did 9 or 10 last year. I know the plan is maybe to increase that number. I know Jim will be working on the behind the scenes to come up with that idea, work with the Ohmanns to do some great baseball coverage when we start up again in summertime, which, of course, the merry month of June. As he mentioned, he believes the starting opening game at Coburn Park will be June the 7th. So, again, great baseball. I know it's only January, and it's hard for you to think about playing Let's Play 2. But, folks, if you ever enjoy baseball, you've got to make the trek to Newark at Coburn Park to really understand what really college kids and a great fan base can do to make your night one of very entertaining. I know I've enjoyed over there. And as a matter of fact, I personally went over there with my wife and friends of ours when we weren't broadcasting the games. That's how much I think of that visit, an enjoyable evening. Have a nice cold beer, have a nice sausage sandwich, have a garbage plate. Just enjoy, have some popcorn. Really enjoy the game of baseball. And there's nobody that does it better than the Ohmanns at Coburn Park, the owner of the Newark Pilots. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to wrap up another edition of Weber on Sports, not real sad news. I guess it's sad news. Last Monday was the anniversary of the loss of my son-in-law, Matt Foe, the volunteer fireman, of course, up in Geneva, well-known throughout the area. Great young man. He died with a brain tumor on January 7th, a year ago. The anniversary is sad for our family, but like many of you that go through tragedy in our families, we have to move forward because that's the way Matt would want us to move forward. But one thing that we are moving forward is Sam Cosentino and a host of other committee members are putting together another broom ball event. If you ever watch broom ball, it is funny. It's a great game. They're going to have it at the Geneva Ice Cooler this weekend on Sunday of this week. That, of course, will be January the 20th. It'll start at 4 p.m. I believe there are 6 fire department teams going to play in competitive broom ball, and they really go at each other. I believe there's 6 10-member teams signed up to play. There's going to be food galore. There's going to be raffles, special guests, all kinds of lots of fun. And the reason they're doing this on a yearly basis is Matt, before he died, asked my daughter Sam to make sure that in his passing that something positive came up, and he wanted to give up some scholarships, and I believe they're going to give out 2 750 scholarships to Geneva High School kids who meet a certain criteria. And this is going to be an ongoing yearly event, and this is the week that it takes place, this coming Sunday. And, of course, we ask that you make a point to stop by. Again, it's at the Cooler, the Geneva Recreation Complex, up in Geneva, New York. Starts at 4 p.m., goes to about 8:30. So stop by, have a cup of coffee, have a slice of pizza, have some dessert. Just watch some of the action. And there's going to be a bunch of raffles to win some big prizes as well. So I hope that you take part. It's going out to a very worthwhile cause, because not only do we miss my son-in-law, Matt, who I know is smiling at me right now from heaven, and I know that he's proud that the tradition is going to continue on his behalf. Take care, everybody. Once again, thanks to Bob Ohmann for joining us here on Weber on Sports. We'll be back next week for another edition. Until then, take care, everybody. That's a look at sports my way.